Hello there. Welcome back to the booth here at the World Championship in Seattle. We're at PAX. A lot of people in the crowd here, a lot of people walking by, and we're ready to head down to the feature match area for round 13 here from the World Championship. Hello and welcome to coverage of the World Championship. We're in PAX, Seattle, Washington. Marshall Sutcliffe with Randy Buehler and Ian Duke. Let's meet our players for this feature match.
Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa, Brazil, top pro points, Latin America.
Sam Black, United States of America, top pro points, North America.
All right, you can see that we've got two of the biggest names in Magic duking it out down there in the feature match area. Let's take a look at Paulo. Paulo has decided to bring, well, his favorite standard deck of late, Esper Dragons, to the table. You know, somebody told him, you could probably play that here, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's in. Now, sitting across from him, though, is Sam Black, a known brewer who picked up this deck, via testing channels and some connections and such, and has worked on it.
Teammate Craig Wesco had success with it last weekend, so Sam said, I guess I better check that out.
Now, the deck, we should say what it is.
Mono White Devotion.
Mono White Devotion. Not a deck that we've seen in Standard in the past, or at least not one that had any success. And we're going to keep an eye on to see how it goes here. He starts off Soldier of the Pantheon.
Just your everyday ordinary Standard turn 1, right? Soldier of the Pantheon?
Haven't seen that guy in a while. He has had his day at the Pro Tour level, but not recently. So Soldier of the Pantheon kicks things off, and that's an Onofenza.
Look at the curve. This is what the deck is designed to do, right?
This is a 1-2 punch here. White Weenie at its finest. Now, what sets this deck apart, Randy? What's the big upside here for a deck like this?
I mean, Sam will tell you just being able to play 21 planes is a big upside, but it's really the Archangel of Tides. Archangel of Tides is just a great card. It's super efficient, but it demands that you be heavy, heavy white. And then once you've got Archangel of Tides, well, Nykthos is in the format. You can sink a bunch of Nykthos mana into Master of the Unseen. It gives you just a way more powerful late game than a White Weenie deck is used to having.
Now, interestingly here, so Paulo's going to get some value off of his Silumgar scoring here. He gets to counter the Hanger Backwalker just straight up. Archangel of Tides in this matchup, Ian, what does it do here?
Definitely not at its best against Esper Control. It doesn't match up well against Dragonlord Ojutai, for example, and Esper deck not really trying to attack with lots of weenie creatures. It can put a little bit of pressure on mana if they have a blocker, but that's not really usually how the matchup is going to play out.
Yeah, we saw Sam do a deck tech earlier. I'm sure you guys can go back and watch that if you're interested in this deck. And he said that, the numbers on Archangel of Tithe line up great against everything except exactly Ojutai.
And generally the deck that runs it too, right?
Yeah.
It's just not a lot of heat. The Esper deck can say, okay, you did it. You made your best card. Now attack with it a few times. Like, yeah, still, you're fine, and eventually I'll kill it.
Yeah, I think a far more threatening card out of Sam's deck against Paulo's Esper Control is Mastery of the Unseen.
Which we see on the table here, so Unseen no longer. He's also got the Nykthos there, so he's going to start generating extra mana pretty shortly here. And it looks like Dissolve is going to hit that Mastery, so it will not, in fact, hit the table for Sam Black. Paulo knows how important that card is in the matchup.
And Paulo is down to 8 versus 4 power, right? He needs to start killing these creatures. Of course, one of the things that his Esper deck is set up to do, but it's time.
Looks like we're going to see ultimate price here from Paulo. Paulo's currently 24th on the top 25 ranking. Sam's 8th. You can see that number next to their name. That's what that represents. Now, both of these players are 7 and 5, Randy. Where does that set them up? We've got this round and then one more round after this is Standard.
So they need to 2-0. But the way the math shakes out, looking at the pairings, looking at the standings, somebody is going to make top 4 at 9 and 5. At least one person is. Okay, Foul Tongue Invocation is what Sam goes with here. No dragon, so no life gain. Somebody's guaranteed to make top 4 with a 9 and 5 record, possibly multiple somebodies. In addition, I think somebody's guaranteed to miss at 9 and 5 as well.
Okay.
I think we're going to wind up with a tiebreaker scrum, and we're going to wind up with The bubble is going to be somewhere amongst the 9 and 5s.
So these players need to win out
Win-win.
and then cross their fingers.
2 rounds.
Okay. Now, we see Sam has come up with an Archangel of Tides here. And again, we note that it's not, a powerhouse threat, but it's still a nice big flyer when your opponent's all the way down to 6 life here. So Paulo is going to take care of it with an ultimate price. But
Yeah, and offensive keeps coming over.
and Unoffensive picked up a counter as well, thanks to that Archangel hitting the battlefield.
She's lethal next turn.
Indeed. And there's more problems from Paulo, who can't counter a Mastery of the Unseen. And Sam really just dismantled Paulo there. It was the quick start, right? The 1-drop, 2-drop that got underneath any counter spells. Yeah, exactly, on the play. And even though Paulo found removals and counters and stuff like that, he was taking 2 to 4 every turn. We'll be back right after these messages.
The battle for Zendikar is coming to PAX Prime, and the Eldrazi are taking over. Join us Saturday for a special 1-hour Battle for Zendikar preview show hosted by Will Whedon and Ashley Birch, and featuring the Wizards of the Coast R&D team as they pull back the curtain on Magic's most exciting fall release ever. Start on your road to the Pro Tour by playing in a preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. With more than 2,000 locations running events, you're sure to find one near you. Visit magic.wizards.com/PPTQ for schedules and information.
And welcome back to the feature match area here at PAX in Seattle. Let's jump over before we blink here and check out Magnus Lanto playing Atarka Red. He's up against Sean McLaren, who's on Jeskai. And yeah, as promised,
he followed the lead of teammate Martin Dang.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. 3 creatures hitting the battlefield here, or hitting the red zone here, I should say. Looks like a Zergo, a Swift Spear, and a Foundry Street Denizen.
Yep, these guys are also 7 and 5. Win-win gets them into the tiebreaker scrum at 9 and 5. It's a scrum Sean McLaren has some experience with. Last year, he went 9 and 5 and was on the losing side of that tiebreaker scrum. He was 5th place at Worlds last year. In addition, Sean this time around has the best tiebreakers amongst the 7 and 5. So I think if he gets there this time, he'll probably be on the right side of the tiebreakers.
So Magma Spray looks pretty good here.
Yeah. Missing land drops doesn't.
No, here's another Zergo Bell Striker, though this is the same one being dashed again by Magnus Lanto. And there's Wild Slash target your head.
For effectively 3, thanks for prowess.
And Sean McLaren's life total is falling quickly. He seems to be missing land drops and doesn't have the cheap answers he needs to get rid of his opponent's threats. He draws a dig.
Look at all the life he could gain with those Ojutai's commands.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah, this matchup does not look that bad for Sean, but he stumbled, and that is one of the benefits that you get out of Mono Red, is that when your opponent stumbles, you get to just pound them. Let's jump over to table D here, which for you at home is that back table. Where we have a
big
great matchup. Owen Turtenwald versus Paul Rietzel.
There are feature matches. And then there's Owen versus Paul in what is close to a win and in. Paul's tiebreakers are actually crap. So Paul may not be able to make top 4 with a 1-1. He could wind up on the wrong side of that 9 and 5 scrum with a win and a loss. Owen, though, he's been at the top of the Swiss the whole tournament. He's in great shape with a win.
Well, we're going to stick on this one for a few minutes. I got to see what happens with this match. This is just too good to look away from here, and it looks like it's drug out a bit here. Check out those graveyards.
Yeah, which has to be good news for Owen, right? This is 2 different flavors of Obzon. Control versus aggro, and you know what? If you're playing control versus aggro, and both players have 7 lands and no board, it's usually good for the control player.
Right on time, Randy. Owen Turtenwald plays Elspeth's Sun's Champion, making 3 soldier tokens here. Now, there is a face-down morph, though, for Rietzel. Looks like it's already got a counter on it from a Dromica's command earlier, and it is a Den Protector. Now it has 2 counters on it. That's actually going to be able to pressure Elspeth here. Would need 1 more power to actually take her down.
Well, he got Dromica's command.
Does he have one in his hand? He got it back?
That's what he picked up with the Den Protector.
So he's actually got enough to kill Elspeth here. He can fight a token. He's got to put the counter on it. There we go. And, wow, so that was about the cleanest way you could get rid of Elspeth there. Now,
Paul's
Owen's
like,
still
not
at 13.
so fast, Randy.
Yeah.
We're still in the beatdown portion of this game. I got it under control.
Just a slight diversion for Paul Rietzel, who follows up with a Fleecemane Lion. Still 2 soldiers left over for Turtenwald, but he needs to find a way to get some cards going. And right now, doesn't have it. He got an ultimate price here, which he can use to kill the Den Protector. That's nice.
Is that a Dragonlord Dromoka? No. What is that other card in Owen's hand?
Owen plays Dragonlord Dromoka.
He does have one in his deck. I couldn't see the card. Pay the price. Play a land. This could leave Fleecemane Lion open. In fact, he has left Fleecemane Lion open for Monstrous.
Wow, Paul's still got Siege Rhino. He's got another Siege Rhino. He's got an Elspeth.
All right. And it comes, and Turtenwald's going to maintain his life total by cashing in 1 soldier.
Yes, Paul could Monstrous his Fleecemane. He probably suspects Owen is Sand's removal since Owen didn't kill it while Paul was tapped out. But Paul's got better things to do with his mana. Summoning a Siege Rhino seems like it might just be better than Monstrous-ing this Fleecemane Lion. It's also got a Wingmate Rock he can summon.
There it is. Wingmate Rock hits the battlefield, so a big play for Rietzel, who's going to look to apply maximum pressure to Owen Turtenwald here. Was that last card Dromoka for Owen?
I think it is.
And if it is, that will stabilize him, assuming Dromoka lives.
Yeah, Paul just draws land, plays Elspeth.
Done.
Well,
Elspeth
that's the
doesn't
bullet that Owen has to dodge here.
Owen drew
Hero's Downfall. Huh. Well, the time is now. Yeah, you
do
were
what you
right.
gotta do. Cross your fingers.
So
Here
is
it
this an
comes.
untapped land for
Untapped land for
Rietzel
Paul is
or a
insane
removal
here.
spell?
Yes.
It was, but it's
But
not
it
the
was an
right one.
ultimate
It was an
price.
ultimate price. That
Wow.
will not get it done.
So a little window here for Owen to get back in this game.
Yeah, it looks
Interesting.
like Owen's bought himself some breathing room here. Though it's not getting any easier. Paul can play a Siege Rhino here.
Yeah.
The
And
pressure
will.
is certainly mounting, but Dragonlord Dromoka doing a noble job of holding off a massive effort here from Rietzel. Go. Big draw step for Owen Turtenwald. And he finds Nissa. He even has a fetch land sitting there. He's also going to, of course, be able to get a forest, so he can turn that face up here, get an extra card, and have mana for his Hero's Downfall.
Okay, there's something coming together here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ian. That was a nice rip.
Back table update, by the way. Seth Manfield, stop me if you've heard this before. He's up a game over Martin Mueller.
Seth Manfield is 11-1 in this tournament.
Yeah, you remember that how people still talk about the performance Shota Yasuoka put on at that first these new World Championships? Shota went 11-1. That was a 12-round tournament. I think we want to stay here and finish this.
We're going to
right?
stay on this match
Yeah,
here.
you want to watch Sam Black's Mono White Devotion.
If you
it's up
wanna,
there in the corner.
If you want to keep an eye on it, you can look in the upper right part of your screen there as Paulo tries to fend off Sam Black after game 1 here. But I want to stick on Paul Rietzel versus
same.
Owen Turtenwald here.
But yeah, Seth has already equaled Shota's mark from that first Worlds. They're now 14 rounds instead of 12, so he may put up the even better Swiss performance.
All right, so there it is. Nissa turns face up. What does he want to do? Owen's at 10. This is game 1. Is this effectively a win and in, Randy?
It is for Owen. Paul would still need a draw because to get out of the tiebreaker scrum.
Okay. Now, does that also make it a losing out?
Not for Owen.
Okay. He could be one of those 9-5
Yeah,
players.
Owen can win that scrum with a 1-1 finish. These guys are a match above the 7-5s, obviously. Tied for second right now. And you know how many 9-5s can get in depends on Seth Manfield once again. If he knocks Martin Mueller down, it's just more room for more 7-5s. One of which might be Martin.
So Owen here attacking with the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he triggers lifelink.
If Paul were to double block, we know Owen has Hero's Downfall in his hand to take out one of those birds.
Paul's on 13? Doesn't seem like you double block here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, you kind of want to crack back. Actually turns a profit on the crackback unless Owen has something else going on.
Now, why wouldn't Owen just leave back Dragon Lord Dromica?
I think he wants to get the lifelink.
Yeah, because Paul plays Elspeth, kills the Dragon Lord, you never gained the life.
Yeah.
And that is a significant amount of life that he gains here. 15 he's up to now.
And he's
Interestingly,
pressuring Paul,
Rietzel's
right?
down to 8, yeah.
Yeah, he gave Paul the opportunity to double block, which Owen could have blown him out if Paul does. Okay, Paul dodged that bullet successfully, but...
And Owen's still deciding what to do with Nissa. Hasn't used her yet.
Could make a 4-4. Could take a peel at the top of the deck. It looks like he's going to make a 4-4.
Wow.
So a
Making
Shia
Elspeth
token.
even better.
Indeed. Oh, he finds a
Comes in a
tap
play, tap
land
land.
off the top. Temple of Plenty is not going to let Paul Rietzel play Elspeth here.
Now what? I mean, Paul's got a bunch of good attacks. Even Fleecemane Lion can attack if he was willing to go monstrous.
Yeah, no.
Owen is not interested in the Wingmate Rock life gain for helping out Paul's side of this race.
So
So
he's going
there's-
to pre-combat, make
Yeah.
sure that he Hero's Downfall's the Wingmate Rock. Paul's at 8.
Owen is hellbent, so Paul knows what he's up against. He's got a Siege Rhino he could play. He's obviously going to play the Temple, which means that Elspeth is an option next turn. What else does Paul have?
He's got another Siege Rhino.
Yeah, it's Siege Rhino, Elspeth, Temple, and he has Ultimate Price.
I'm interested to see what Paul attacks with here. I
Yeah.
believe we're in his declare attacker step.
I mean, he can
We
also
are.
price the token, right?
He totally can.
And then attack with everything.
Yes.
Maybe
Does
send
he
a
wanna-
flyer at Nissa.
Yeah, does he want to take out Nissa in that exchange? I mean, Owen's taken the kill him line off the table here by being all the way up to 15 after that attack.
Right. But Owen has no cards in his hand. You drop
Yeah.
him down to just the Dragon Lord.
The thing is, if Paul spends mana to ultimate price this turn, I think that's at the expense of advancing his board with something like a second Siege Rhino.
Oh, because he's only got the 5. You're right. Yeah.
So it's actually a pretty tough decision how to attack and what to attack with.
Probably want to kill Nissa, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to kill Nissa with Siege Rhino, not the Rock token. Interesting.
He's left the rock token back.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised the rock token didn't attack. I guess that means it's chump blocking this turn. I mean, Paul's
Double
not
blocking?
Paul's. Yeah, it could.
It could chump block. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he does just chump block the dragon.
I assume so. I mean, Paul doesn't have any other flyers, so, and Paul's not one to no attacks, no blocks, as they say.
Right.
No, he is not.
Oh, wow. Paul gets... oh,
Okay.
he held back the ultimate price. Oh, and double block. Now Paul's totally priced in. Because ultimate price saves the Siege Rhino and kills Nissa.
Yeah, which he did that exact play. And there is that 6th land, of course, for Rietzel that he drew this turn, meaning that Elspeth is primed.
Owen
enter
is
the
down to
battlefield next
just the
turn.
Dragon Lord. Yeah, I think Paul's line there. He was only going to ultimate price if Owen opened himself up to a 2-for-1. Otherwise, he could spend his mana either on Fleecemane Monstrous or Siege Rhino. I'm guessing Fleecemane Monstrous.
And like you guys predicted, Paul Rietzel does chump block with the
And
token.
Owen top decked. Was that Den
Wow.
Protector?
Must be.
Wow. So Paul's chump block there is to stop himself from going down to 3, which
Yeah.
would make Siege Rhino lethal.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's a good thing that he did that. Do we know if Owen has a Siege Rhino in his graveyard?
He does.
He does.
Here comes Elspeth.
I mean, Elspeth can kill Dromica, but it also kills Siege Rhino.
Yeah, and Turnwald's up to 20. I mean, he was on the ropes.
Yeah.
He was down to, what, 8? Now he's at 20? He's going to take 4 here, though. Falling down to 16, another land for Rietzel.
Now Elspeth down. Fleecemane can block Den Protector. Is that the line?
Then we have an Elspeth fight, potentially, if Owen wants to get back his own copy.
Yeah,
I mean, if
Owen top decking Den Protector makes Paul's life a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
that
sure
was
does.
brutal draw from Paul Rietzel's perspective.
So remember, if Paul plays Elspeth and takes down, Den Protector can turn face up, get a removal spell, kill the lion, kill Elspeth. Is a potential play here.
So what happened here is, so Elspeth,
But then the Den Protector
Minus
only
has
killed
just
Fleece
happened.
Main, right? And you still have Elspeth? Or no, you don't have Elspeth.
so, just to keep an eye on what the main match is on the upper right-hand side as well, you can see that Sam Black has a fairly well-built board, but Paulo is nicely battling back thanks to Silumgar the Drifting Death clearing away a bunch of tokens on the ground there.
Whoa! Owen Den Protected for Bile Blight and shrank Dromaga.
Wow.
Dromaga does the limbo, gets underneath that Elspeth activation.
That was a Siege Rhino off the top for Owen.
What?
I think he just drew a Siege Rhino. He did!
Oh wow!
Siege Rhino off the top, and Owen Turtenwald
Holy
wins
smokes.
this game.
Owen Turtenwald, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, nothing like Den Protector into Siege Rhino. Let's get back to our main match, though,
Awesome.
where we're in the midst of game 2 here. We have Sam Black up a game over Paulo as we came in here, and looks like this one's pretty well developed. We see a Jace Vryn's Prodigy there for Paulo, along with Silumgar the Drifting Death, but he is facing down 2 very problematic cards for this deck, an Elspeth and an active and rolling Master of the Unseen. Whew. That Owen Turtenwald, huh?
Did not see the Bile Blight to shrink under
Yeah.
the Elspeth coming. I don't think Paul saw it either.
So pretty cool interaction happening here. Paulo plays his second dragon. Now remember that Silumgar the Drifting Death triggers once per dragon you control that attacks. So with 2 dragons, that's actually -2/-2 on Sam's whole team. Perfect for killing manifests.
Back table update, by the way, Magnus Lanto has defeated Sean McLaren. So the red deck got there against McLaren's Jeskai. Tarka Red still very live. Magnus now 8-5. Sean McLaren has been knocked out of top 4 contention.
Now we blinked, but Sam Black minus Elspeth to take care of half of that plan in leaving Ojutai in the graveyard. But still, Silumgar the Drifting Death is alive and well. That 3 power, a big boon here. And Sam's going to attack for 4, dropping Paulo down to 8. Looks like he's down to 7 now, actually.
The 9th and 10th of our last remaining players, by the way, playing outside the feature match area this round are also done. Tiago Saporito over Jacob Wilson. So Tiago stays in contention. Jacob picks up loss number 6.
Normally, if you're the white weenie deck and you have 8 lands on the battlefield, you're pretty bummed out. But this one's a little different. This one can actually make use of all that mana and in a very effective way against the Esper Dragons deck. Paulo goes into the tank, the 9-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor and Hall of Famer. How does he get out of this mess? He can use his Jace and get it transformed this turn. Gets rid of a land. All right, he's going to buy back Ojutai with his Crucible, Spirit Dragon, play another one, and he's got the mana now to replay Ojutai. So this worked out pretty nicely here, but he's at 7 life, and he knows he's going to be facing multiple manifests on top of the ones that Sam already has. He'd love to be able to get in there and kill Elspeth here. He knows he can wipe away the manifest next turn with his 2 dragons. But is he going to leave himself dead?
So here's the tricky thing. If Paulo attacks Elspeth with Silumgar, End of turn, Sam makes 2 more manifests. Now that's 4 manifests attacking. Paulo can block one with Ojutai, but if he blocks the wrong one, we could see an Archangel of Titus turn up. And that'd be exactly 7 on the remaining 3.
Well, but Jace hasn't been activated yet either here. He can shrink down one of the manifests
That's true.
and change the math here. This is close. This is...
Yeah, it feels like it comes down to how many of the manifests can turn up into bigger creatures that hit for more than 2.
Yeah, with all that extra mana from Sam, you know, most of his creatures top out at 4, right, as far as actual converted mana cost goes.
Right.
So he could flip up the other 2, assuming that
says
there's
go.
something.
He is not going to finish off Elspeth.
And I think the largest power of any creature in Sam's deck is
It's
3, right?
It's Brimaz or the Angel.
Right, so he doesn't have to worry about suddenly taking too much damage from an unblocked manifest. He could take one extra point.
Also, leaving Elspeth alive doesn't really do that much. She makes 3 tokens, right?
Right.
They get swept away.
They get swept away with the Drifting Death attack next turn. So I like Paulo's line.
This is super tight. Yeah, there's 3 soldier tokens from Elspeth and an army of manifests as well.
Now Sam has, I believe, yeah, he has a backup Elspeth. So Elspeth minus can kill Ojutai
Interesting.
and mess things up.
He-
Paulo.
He actually wants his Elspeth to die?
Well, he wants to be able to do Elspeth minus.
Yeah, if his Elspeth dies, he can play the second one and
Play the
immediately
second one
minus.
anyway. Just decide to keep it.
Yeah, so that's what he's going to do here. He got the other tokens out of the first one first, plays the second one, minuses it, and once again keeps Dragonlord Ojutai at bay. There is another Crucible of the Spirit Dragon on the board, though, for Paulo. He can buy it back. If he has an untapped land, he can replay it again, but the clock is getting real nasty here.
Yeah, looks like Sam's going to get through for
4?
at least 4.
Yeah, minimum 4. Might be 5. And Paulo falls down to 3. Let's see what he blocked. He blocked the plains, as it turns out. You see that one manifest that hung back. That's the one that got shrunk down by Jace.
Precisely. All right. So we just repeat the board state again.
Yeah, this basically is the same thing that happened last time.
Except Paulo doesn't have a land. He's short
No,
one
but he
land.
drew a Dragonlord Ojutai, I think. I think his hand is Dig. Dragonlord?
That'd be a great hand. If he doesn't have to sack the Crucible to go get a Dragonlord Ojutai,
I
then-
mean, if he does, he can't cast it.
Wow,
so-
he did. He top decked Ojutai. That's crazy.
Is
Was one
that good?
short of being able to Crucible it back out. But now, does Drifting Death need to clean up those soldier tokens? It probably does.
Yeah. Also clean up Elspeth in the process here.
Yeah, yeah. But Sam's still going to have 4 manifests.
Yeah, it might just be
Yeah.
too late.
Jace gets to tick one down again.
Wow, crazy. So last turn, could Paulo have actually targeted his own Ojutai with Jace to shrink it so it can't be killed by a new Elspeth?
I think so.
I think that might have worked. I mean, it's a little risky because it means that other manifest can attack and he may take a couple more damage, but if he's leaving them all back anyway and he's just playing for this double thing, yeah, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just up to one target creature. It can be yours.
Hat tip
Hexproof allows it.
hat tip to Neil Rigby for whispering that tip into my ear. All right, Jace is going flashback mode.
Let's see what Paulo has to grab out of this. He's got a Languish sitting there.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
so he can reset quite cleanly here with a
Okay.
Languish. And he doesn't even need to play the Ojutai card.
All right,
yet
so he
here.
wasn't all in on that Ojutai line.
Nope.
Languish with the flashback cleans this up.
And there's no Angel of Tithes down there to dodge this. Looks like a couple of lands and a soldier. So down they go, but still end step. And Sam gets to play
If this
a manifest. What
is
if it's a 3
3-power
power?
creature?
Yeah. He could just win.
Crazy.
Paulo trying to work through these Master of the Unseens.
The hand. We want to know. What is it?
That was Jacob Van Lunen, who's our spotter down there. He's going to punch it up. We can see right here. Let's bring it up. It's a soldier of the Pantheon.
Oh, so he hit a creature.
He did, just not the right one. Now, Paulo's probably figured out, okay, he probably doesn't have it at this point.
Yeah, this attack would not have taken nearly as long. After we talk about perfect play in Magic, it's actually one of the things we talk about. Can you play the perfect game of Magic? It's like, how long do you think about things? What are you representing by how quickly you take your actions?
Right.
That,
I mean, the hard part about Magic is that it can be very difficult to double-check your work even if you have a lot of time and a computer and smart people. All right, so here comes the Manifest. This is going to drop Paulo
right?
down to 1.
Yep.
And he's got a follow-up play here as well.
Knight of the White Orchid.
Knight of the White Orchid.
Does not get a plane. It's disappointing.
No, but it does create mana for him, so he still
It
gets
does.
to activate his Mastery twice on end step.
Yep.
Or whenever. And this is dig through time now for Paulo. This is huge.
So
Go ahead.
Paulo's last remaining card is Dragon Lord Ojutai. For context here.
Yeah. Yeah, he decided not to cast that last turn in lieu of just casting Languish on flashback. But this is a huge...
Ugin.
Ugin. Now, that Ugin is one of the only ways that he actually has to get rid of a Mastery of the Unseen.
Yep. What's under the Banishing Light?
Yeah.
because Ugin also gets rid of the Banishing Light and returns whatever that is to presumably Paulo's side of the board.
That's right. He needs another mana source, though, for Ugin, and he just drew it. That was a polluted Delta.
Wow.
Is Ugin good enough? Because Ugin doesn't kill the Manifests.
It does not kill the Manifest, but it still leaves him with the Silumgar, right?
Yeah, but
It
Sam's
works.
going to make multiple Manifests as a response.
So I'm doing an Urborg check here, right? The polluted Delta with Paulo at 1 is not helpful? Question mark.
No Urborgs.
Okay.
You are totally correct. I'm so used to there being an Urborg with this
you got to
deck.
do the Urborg check, otherwise Twitch chat, starts going crazy.
Oh,
on you.
yeah, they do. Usually it's the other way.
Right.
A fetch line gets tapped for mana, but it does work the other direction. Yeah, no, I think you're right, Randy. I think that there's an Archangel of Tides, which means that Paulo's not going to be able to block.
Yes,
Wow.
it does.
And that will
Paulo does not
do
look
it.
happy.
I wouldn't be
Wow.
happy either. This is a tough matchup for him.
Sam
All right,
Black.
so Sam Black evens things up
No, that's the
against
match.
Paulo. Oh, sorry,
the match.
yeah,
Sam
won
that
the
is
first
the
game.
match.
Yeah, we
Sam won
saw
the first
game 1, Sam Black rushed him down with a
Yep.
white weenie draw. Game 2, Sam Black out-controlled him with Mastery of the Unseen.
Pretty much.
All
So
right, let's-
Sam Black stays live for top 4. Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa will not be making this top 4.
Okay. Yeah, tough elimination match there for Paulo. But let's jump back to Owen Turnwald versus Paul Rietzel here.
You have 6 cards, right? 6, yeah.
Last we saw, Owen Turnwald had some pretty major heroics to pull out the win.
Indeed.
With some clever play and some nice top decks, he managed to find game 1. Paul Rietzel now, no board state whatsoever, but he's ahead on mana. Interestingly, Owen in the Obzon control role here is the one who's stuck on 4, where it looks like the hangerback Obzon deck of Paul Rietzel's up to 6 now.
Sounds like both players took a mulligan before this game.
Okay. A lot of cards in hand for Rietzel, and bang. There's Elspeth to take down the Siege Rhino, and that could be a game-winning sequence here. As you can see, Owen's got 6-7 cards in hand
Yeah.
here.
Just pinched on mana.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them's a downfall, though.
Okay, well,
Elspeth is not going to get out of control.
that is a good thing for Owen. Yeah, it's not going to run away with the game, at least.
Paul's
It looks like
on.
Paul's got a bunch of reactive cards, or wait.
I think there's an Anafenza.
there's
in
an
there.
Anafenza. Yeah, at first I thought that was a Dromicus command, but it is not.
Yeah, I think it's 2 removal spells, Anafenza, and land.
He knows that Turtenwald's on all spells.
Oh, I didn't see the Tassiger.
Oh, hello. Can he play both this turn?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Depends how much he wants to delve, of course. He may just go Tassiger with mana to activate it.
He's
Oh,
left just one
just
Elspeth.
Elspeth. There
Pass
you
a
go.
turn back, giving himself a reasonable chance to pick up an Elspeth here. Yeah, we're watching you, Paul. We see you. Yeah, there it was a land finally off the top here for Turtenwald. You can see he had a Caves of Koilos there. And there it is. Turnwald's at 18. He's fine on life. Does he just have to bite the bullet and Obs on charm this Tassiger here?
Yeah, he's certainly going to have to deal with it eventually.
Interestingly, the fact that Sam Black and Magnus Lanto are the 21 pointers who've won so far is good news for Paul Rietzel, as his tiebreakers don't look nearly as bad now.
All right, so what did Paul get back? It's not the Elspeth. What was the other card? Didn't quite catch it. It was face down there. But the Obs-on Charm did take out Tassiger.
It was a self-inflicted wound.
A self-inflicted wound.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's about the best case scenario for Turnwald, right? I mean, instead of an Elspeth, he got a self-inflicted wound.
Yeah.
And there's Anafenza the foremost joining the board here for Rietzel. So the pressure keeps coming, but Turnwald's definitely clawing back to mana parity here, and with 5 lands, could be in business. Yeah, the long game is certainly Turnwald's. You know, I don't know if you guys caught that, but he's got a pair of Den Protectors in his hand. He's also got a Bile Blight, a Hero's Downfall. I think a Languish and a... Oh, yeah, there it is right on the screen, Languish and a Courser as well. So he's got the tools. And it looks like he's going to take a hit here and get this Den Protector down.
Yeah, I mean, Owen's sitting in a comfortable life total. He's got plenty of removal in hand. Paul has only the Anafenza to threaten right now. Paul's hand looking pretty reactive. Looks like Paul has a Hero's Downfall, the self-inflicted wound that we saw that Owen knows about, and Dromoka's Command.
So Anafenza is going to hit Owen, dropping him down to 14. That part he knew about. Land go for Paul Rietzel just does nothing. Here's a Den Protector. And he's going to get back a Valorous Stance, so he's found a nice cheap answer to deal with Anafenza. Still on end step here.
Yeah, Paul's got removal, so he wanted Owen to make that Den Protector decision without, and now Paul might kill the Den Protector with Owen tapped out.
Paul's at 11. It is a real card here.
So using the Dromoka's Command to fight while Owen's tapped out, just knowing that he may not have the opportunity to
Just
do
taking
that
the
and not,
safe.
Yeah, to not be responded to with the removal spell.
Oh my God, Seth Manfield.
Did he win again?
He's comfortable. He's got that King of the Hill table locked up. He is 12-1.
Oh my God, in this field?
Unprecedented record in this field. And that means Martin Mueller just lost.
Yep.
Now he had that loss to give, but now he's in the scrum at 5 losses.
This is our
Basically,
last match now.
the winner of this match is going to be in second all by themselves, and they're going to be 5 players who are all tied at 8-5 going into the last round. We're going to have 7 people still live for top 4 in the final round.
Paul Rietzel just can't find anything. He finds a Plains off the top of his deck now. Self-inflicted wound is going to take care of the Courser of Crewfix. So that's nice for him. Doesn't have anything else going on here, though. And the information will be known as well. Hero's Downfall was the last spell in Rietzel's hand. It hits the graveyard thanks to a Thoughtseize, and now Owen Turnwald has turned the corner here.
Yep.
He's up a game in the match already, and Rietzel needs to find something, and quickly. He found a Dromoka's Command off the top. That's not what he wants to see.
Man, the pairings in the last round are going to all be screwy too, right? Owen will get paired against somebody in that scrum. Seth Manfield will get paired against somebody in that scrum.
Owen
Somebody will
Turnwald
get paired down.
is now turning the corner on this game directly. He had just got back a Siege Rhino, and he's looking to close the door on Rietzel. He knows he's out of gas. He attacks for 3. Plays the Rhino. That drops him down to 5 and says, you have to draw something now, Paul, or you're dead. He finds a Siege Rhino.
I think that
Paul
counts.
says, okay.
Wow. They can't hear us, but he certainly responded.
Still, unfortunately for Paul, we know Owen has Obs on Charm among other potential answers here.
Yeah, I think he actually has the win here with Hero's Downfall plus Obs on Charm for counters. I don't know if he goes for it. I mean, there is one unknown card, right, for Rietzel?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, there is none? Okay.
When Owen thought seized, he saw the planes, and Paul since played it.
Yeah, and that's it. He did have it exactly as we thought. And Owen Turtenwald wins his very close match there against Paul Rietzel to improve to 9-4, Randy, putting himself in a position
99+%. He has the best tiebreakers in the room. And with a loss, he just falls into a place where multiple people get in off tiebreakers. He's in. Like, he's all but mathematically in.
All but mathematically in. Wow. Had to beat Paul Rietzel to do it, but he pulled it out. Welcome back to the booth. We're here at PAX in Seattle, Washington. Marshall Cyclove with Randy Buehler and Ian Duke. And the tension is palpable down there in the feature match.
I mean, you can see there, Owen's obviously elated to have clinched, but he's also had to beat a pretty good friend, Paul Rietzel, a guy he hangs out with all the time.
All the time. You know, he's got a lot of respect for Paul as a player and a person. So yeah, it's always tough. You have to manage.
Yeah, you didn't really see any of the elation that I know Owen is feeling. He knows he's got this.
He's got to be so excited.
It's one of those where, like, you look at the standings. He's not going to get the draw to mathematically clinch it, but yeah, look, the only person in the room who has breakers anywhere close to him, Sean McLaren lost. Martin Mueller lost. So Owen he's in good shape.
He's clear of the field.
But now he gets to play Dream Crusher in the last round.
Hey, there's a pro point.
There's a pro point. Of course, you want the pro point. He only made this Worlds by one pro point.
Yeah, it is not about crushing dreams. It is about accumulating pro points at this early stage of the season and trying to set up a late season run to get back here.
That's right.
Next year, right? And you know that these players are thinking about that. I mean, we saw that, down the stretch. In a lot of the players were so close, just right on that bubble. And, one pro point can make the difference.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And just coming out at the end of last season and seeing how tight that race was to get here in the first place, starting fresh again, you bet that everyone here wants to get every single pro point they can out of this event to start the new season.
Yeah, and, somebody like Owen, full-time professional Magic player, has been the majority of his life. He values every single one of those points. All right, looks like we're ready over at the news desk. And Richard Hagan.
All right, thanks very much to the guys there. I'm going to open this little section with a question for the crowd here live at PAX. How many of you in the game of Magic the Gathering in your lives have ever got to 12-1 or better? That was a big fat 0. None. Louis Scott Vargas. Hall of Famer Randy. Okay, I should have said non-Hall of Famers, shouldn't I? Fair enough. All right. What an achievement, though, by Seth Manfield. Just extraordinary. 12-1's almost impossible. To do it at this level is just absurd, and he knows it too. We're going to have Seth Manfield up here at the news desk talking through his Abzan deck in just a little bit. But why don't we look at the way things stand? So Seth Manfield, by virtue of going 12-1, has just basically turned this into 2 tournaments. There's the Seth Manfield experience, and then there's the 23 players playing in the World Championship. Those 2 tournaments will join again on Sunday when Seth Manfield, well, who knows what happens Sunday, and who knows who joins him. Owen Turtenwald has just taken a gigantic step towards that Final Four, because at 9-4, even with other players coming up to 9-5, and with Owen losing in his last round, were that to happen, his tie breaks are looking pretty sensational. So he will feel he is just about there. And we agree he is. So that means 2 more to make it in. So it turned out that Sam Black beat Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa. Paulo Vitor Damo Da Rosa will not be world champion. He's now at 7-6. Black is at 8-5. Jacob Wilson lost. He's at 7-6. Thiago Saporito is still alive at 8-5, and he had pretty reasonable breaks. He's in the middle. I will say nice things because he's nearby. Magnus Lanto is up to 8-5. Sean McLaren is done at 7-6, playing for pro points, playing for cash, but not playing to be a world champion. So Lanto, Saporito, Black, all at 8-5. Martin Muller is 8-5 because, of course, he started at 8-4. He was bound to lose. He was playing Seth Manfield. That's what happens to everyone who plays Seth Manfield, apparently. And Paul Rietzl, you've just seen, fall to 8-5 because Owen Turtenwald is up to 9-4. So by our reckoning, there are 5 players at 8-5 looking to claim the 3rd and the 4th spot in the top 4, alongside Seth Manfield for sure, and Owen Turtenwald, barring, I don't know, a meteor strike or an Eldrazi sprouting up from through the ceiling, picking up a cop card, turning... Wait, that kind of actually happened this weekend. Why don't we take a look at how the tentacles came to town?
You're standing in front of the Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering Eldrazi sculpture at PAX 2015.
This is the plane of Zendikar. Zendikar is a plane that we are visiting this fall where these monstrous Eldrazi, these alien figures, are devastating the plane. And we've recreated Zendikar here at PAX this year for the launch of our Battle for Zendikar campaign. And this statue is a Eldrazi ready to wreak havoc on Seattle.
We started working with the Eldrazi IP, and from there we were designing tentacles that were exploding out of the building. It morphed into tentacles exploding up from the ground. From there we started putting into the bifurcated hands, which were then coming down, crashing a police car, snapping a Seattle lamppost.
Design time, I want to say it was about a 10-month process to get this thing from creation, multiple sculpts, multiple redistribution of the clay for the clay maquette that we built.
The process itself was going from sketch format to revising sketches to a clay maquette. From the clay maquette, we brought it into studio. It was 3D scanned. From the 3D scanner, it was CNC routed out, multi-axis CNC routers. Out of foam, it was then sprayed with hard coat and paint, steel infrastructure, and from there it was brought to site and assembled.
We had the police car was the first thing we purchased. We added the soundbar and the fog machine that would make puffs of smoke every once in a while.
You're looking at a pretty significant structure. So it took a 36-ton crane with a 150-foot boom and 3 lowboy drop-down tractor trailers, all wide loads, special permit, plus a half a dozen other trucks to bring this thing in. 2 nights to install. We had to offload in the evening and build in the evening so we could close the streets. It's a pretty big labor.
One of the things that we wanted to do this year is we really wanted to bring the plane to life. Our creative and R&D teams do an amazing job of, in the cards and in the story, creating that setting. And we really wanted to give our fans an opportunity to see what that looks like in life. And so the concept was to create as much of a life-size Eldrazi as we could. They're huge alien monsters. This is over a 25-foot tall Eldrazi monster. And we really just wanted to start with what is that going to look like for our fans. So you can see it's got a hand crushing this vehicle, which is one of our first responders. You go inside, we have hedrons. We have the core swinging from vines, trying to fight back this alien invasion.
Pictures of this are trending as the #1 photo on the PAX Prime site, which is pretty awesome. During install, people were taking pictures out of their car windows. They were stopping on the corner, taking all sorts of video. And this morning, as people are going to work, there's been nothing but a stream of people stopping to take pictures with the tentacle arm, with the police car, and all of the awesome stuff here. It's been really pretty amazing. I think people are really jazzed about it.
I think everyone is very excited. Everyone just keeps walking by, stopping, taking pictures, pointing, smiling. We're pretty pleased.
And now we've got an actual sculpted Eldrazi monster. It's pretty kick-ass. And you can edit that out if you need to.
First off, thanks to the Wizards of the Coast for the opportunity. You don't often get to do a build this big. I'd like to again thank our partners at Dillonworks. The local exhibit company did a fantastic job in the build-out and the installation. Thanks to Penny Arcade Expo and Reed Expo, to the building, Washington State Convention Center, and to the city of Seattle, without whose support we never would have been able to have done this. It was a collaborative effort by everyone.